How was the Antichrist, Al-Masih, ad-Dajjal, born? Who were his parents? What happened at his birth? Why did he kill them? Where is he now? And when will he appear? On a night shrouded in pitch darkness, with no light of the moon and no gleam of a star, the earth gave birth to an unfamiliar being. That child was not like the rest of the children, but different from the very first moment. One eye functioned like a burning piece of coal, while the other was completely erased, with no trace of life in it. His chest surged as if fire was burning inside him. His arrival was not a cause of joy, but carried with it feelings of terror and fear. A newborn unlike any other birth. It was as if the entire universe had changed since his appearance. The Antichrist, Al-Masih, ad-Dajjal, had been born, the trial of time and the greatest test for humanity from the creation of Adam until the Day of Judgment. From the beginning of creation, since God created mankind, there has never been a tribulation more dangerous than that of this man. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, never warned against anything as much as he warned against the Dajjal. He said, "There is no prophet except that he warned his people against the Dajjal, and I am the last of the prophets, and you are the last of nations, and he will inevitably come out among you." All the prophets warned their people about this tribulation, even though they would not live to see it because of its importance, for it represents the greatest test in human history. This trial is not just a story to be told, but a reality that will inevitably come. The Dajjal will not be a mythical creature, nor a mixture of jinn, nor an evil spirit. He is a man from the children of Adam, fully human like us. But he will be granted extraordinary powers and temptations that will mislead people in their religion, making them follow him, thinking he is a god. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "From the creation of Adam until the hour is established, there is no tribulation greater than that of the Dajjal." Sahih Muslim. The reason is that he will show things the human mind cannot imagine. He will bring back to life whom people think is dead, stop the sun, bring down rain, make the treasures of the earth appear, and even show his followers paradise and hell. But in reality, his paradise is hell, and his hell is paradise. A trial that confuses people in their faith and tests their steadfastness upon the truth. Surely these questions now run through your mind. Who is the Antichrist? Is he a supernatural being? Is he a devil? The answer is simply no. The Dajjal is a man fully human, but he will be tested and given extraordinary powers. These powers are not granted to him as an honor or status, but as a trial and test for mankind in their faith and certainty. It was mentioned in the authentic hadith, "The Dajjal is a man from the children of Adam. One of his eyes is obliterated, and written between his eyes is the word kafir, disbeliever, readable by every believer, literate or illiterate. So, he is human, not a mythical being, but he carries the greatest trial humanity has ever known." In a long hadith narrated by the noble companion Tamim al-Dari, he tells us what he saw with his own eyes, which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, later confirmed. Tamim said, "I went on a sea journey with 30 men from Lakam and Judam. We remained at sea for a month until the waves cast us onto a strange island unknown to us. There, we encountered a strange creature called Al-Jassasa, a huge beast covered with hair, so much so that we could not tell its front from its back. It spoke in human language and told us to go to a man in an old monastery." Tamim continues, "We entered the monastery and found a man chained heavily. His hands were tied to his neck, and his legs shackled with iron. His appearance was strange, unlike anything we had ever seen. He looked at us and began asking question after question. "Who are you?" We said, "We are Arabs. We set out to sea and the waves cast us onto this island." He said, "Tell me about the Arabs. What have they done?" We replied, "The Arabs have followed a prophet who appeared among them. He has settled in Yathrib, and they obey him." He said, "Has he appeared?" We replied, "Yes, he has left Makkah and settled in Medina." He said, "Tell me about the date palms of Basin. Do they still bear fruit?" We said, "Yes, they still do." He said, "Soon they will no longer bear fruit." "Tell me about the Sea of Tiberias. Is there water in it?" We said, "Yes, it is full of water." He said, "Soon it will dry up." "Tell me about the spring of Zugar. Is there water in it, and do its people cultivate?" We said, "Yes, it has plenty of water, and they farm from it." He said, "Soon it will dry up." Then he said, "Know that I am the Messiah, the Antichrist, and the time of my release is near, but I have not yet been permitted." When Tamim returned and told the prophet, peace be upon him, the prophet confirmed it and said, "Indeed, he is in an island in the sea of Sham or Yemen." No, rather he is from the direction of the east, from the east, from the east. Thus, it becomes clear to us that the Antichrist has existed since the time of the prophet, peace be upon him. But Allah imprisoned him on a secluded island whose location no one knows except him, until the time of his release comes, as one of the major signs of the hour. The prophet then confirmed Tamim's words and clarified that the location of the Dajjal is not in the seas of Sham or Yemen, but rather in the direction of the east. He repeated, "From the east, from the east, from the east," for strong emphasis on the side from which he will emerge. The details of the Dajjal's powers, his appearance, and his attributes. As for his physical description, it is confirmed in the hadiths that he has very distinct features. He is one-eyed. His right eye looks like a floating grape. Between his eyes is written kafir, disbeliever, which only the believers can see. He is large in body, curly-haired, and in some narrations his hair is intensely white. In some reports, it is mentioned that he moves with astonishing speed and roams the entire earth, except for Makkah and Medina. The Antichrist is a mysterious figure that has puzzled minds since the time of the prophet, peace be upon him. When he emerges, he will not remain long among the people, only 40 days. But these 40 days are not like our days. The first day will be like a year, the second like a month, the third like a week, and the rest, 37 days, like our normal days. Imagine one day as long as a year, in which the Dajjal moves at an incredible speed, crossing countries like clouds driven by the wind. During this short time, he will travel the whole earth, moving from continent to continent in mere hours. Yet, there are two cities he will never be able to enter, Makkah and Medina, for they are guarded by angels. Before the Dajjal appears, 3 great tremors will shake Medina, driving out every hypocrite and sinner who will then join the Dajjal. But the true believers will be kept firm by Allah and remain in Makkah and Medina until the trial passes. If we calculate it in our reckoning, his stay equals more than 400 actual days, though he himself will see them as only 40. A short journey, yet it carries the greatest trial in the history of humanity. He will be given powers that will shake people's minds. He will command the sky to rain, and it will rain. He will command the earth to produce crops, and it will produce. The treasures of the earth will follow him. He will show people an image of paradise and an image of hell. But the prophet told us, his paradise is hell, and his hell is paradise. In a hadith narrated by Imam Muslim, the prophet said, "With him are two rivers. One appears to the eye as white water, and the other as blazing fire. Whoever lives to see that, let him drink from what appears to be fire, for it will be cool water." This means that his trial will be so severe that what people's eyes see will differ from the reality. The Dajjal will roam the earth, east and west, and many people will believe in him. The reason is that they will be deceived by the miracles and extraordinary powers he displays before their eyes. And who will be the first to follow him? It is mentioned in the hadith, 70,000 Jews from Isfahan will follow him, wearing cloaks, tayalisa. Muslim. Isfahan is a region in Iran, and the tayalisa are long outer garments or cloaks known at that time, often green or blue, a distinguishing sign. He will also be followed by many women, to the point that a man will go back to his family and tie them up out of fear that they may go out to the Dajjal. Those weak in faith, those whose hearts are diseased, and those obsessed with worldly gains of wealth, power, or status will be among his followers. The Dajjal will avoid entering Makkah and Medina, for Allah has forbidden him from them, and the angels will stand guard at their gates to prevent him from approaching. On his forehead will be written the word kafir, disbeliever. Every believer, whether literate or illiterate, will be able to read it, but disbelievers will not see it. The Dajjal will encounter two men. One of them will be weak in faith. The Dajjal will say to him, "Do you testify that I am your Lord?" The man misguided will reply, "Yes, you are my Lord." Then the Dajjal will give him wealth and food, command the sky to rain upon him, and the earth to produce for him, thus deceiving him. The other man, however, will be a believer with a firm heart. He will look at the Dajjal's forehead and see the word kafir. He will bravely say, "You are the Antichrist whom our prophet warned us about. By Allah, we will never believe in you." The Dajjal will rage in fury. He will command that the man be thrown to the ground and then struck with a sword, cutting him in half. He will then walk between the two halves in front of the people and say, "Rise." Allah will bring the man back to life as a clear proof against the Dajjal's falsehood. The Dajjal will then say to him, "Now do you believe in me?" But the believer, now even stronger in certainty, will reply, "I have only increased in clarity that you are the Antichrist, the enemy of Allah." The Dajjal will then attempt to kill him again, but he will be unable to, and the man will remain alive by the will of Allah. He will become one of the greatest martyrs with his Lord, honored with both martyrdom and the miracle of being a sign against the Dajjal's falsehood. The story of the Dajjal's parents and his birth. It is mentioned in some narrations, though many of them are weak, that the Dajjal was born to Jewish parents in ancient times, and that they remained 30 years without children before being granted a one-eyed boy. He would sleep, but his heart would not sleep. He was of little goodness, heavy in movement, and full of evil. Some reports claim that his birth was strange, and that he even killed his parents. But these narrations are not authentic in chain, and scholars do not rely upon them. Most of the scholars weaken them. What is agreed upon by the majority of scholars is that the Dajjal is, in origin, an ordinary human being, but that Allah has decreed for him a tremendous trial to be unleashed in the end of times as a test for humanity. How will the Dajjal's affair end, and when will he be killed? When the trial of the Dajjal reaches its peak, and the people are about to fall into his deception entirely, the Prophet of Allah, Jesus, son of Mary, peace be upon him, will descend from the heavens at the white minaret to the east of Damascus, placing his hands on the wings of 2 angels. He will descend at the time of Fajr prayer. The Muslims will gather to pray, and they will put him forward to lead them. But he will refuse and say, "Your Imam is from among you," meaning that Jesus will not descend with a new law, but will rule by the Sharia of Muhammad, peace be upon him. After the prayer, Jesus, peace be upon him, will go out with the Muslims to confront the Dajjal. At the Gate of Lud in Palestine, the Dajjal will see Jesus and melt away like salt dissolves in water. He will try to flee, but Jesus will pursue him and strike him with a spear, killing him. The Muslims will see his blood and be certain of his death. Thus will end the greatest trial the earth has ever known. What happens? After the death of the Dajjal, after killing the Antichrist, Jesus, son of Mary, peace be upon him, will rule the earth with justice. He will break the cross, kill the swine, and abolish the jizya. He will accept nothing but Islam. Blessing will spread across the earth. A child will place his hand in the mouth of a lion, and it will not harm him. Snakes will play with children without hurting them. Peace will prevail. The gates of evil will be shut, and people will live years of tranquility and serenity, such as the earth had not known for a long time. But this will not be the end of the world. It will only be the beginning of other major signs. The emergence of Gog and Magog, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, great landslides, the rising of the sun from the west, the beast coming forth, the Quran being lifted from the pages and the hearts, and a great fire that will drive people to the land of gathering. The trial of the Antichrist is the greatest trial in history. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us to seek refuge from it in every prayer. He used to say, "O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the punishment of hellfire, from the punishment of the grave, from the trials of life and death, and from the evil of the trial of the Antichrist. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from his trial, and from every trial that takes us from the light of faith into the darkness of doubt." If you benefited from this video, do not forget to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to receive all new content. Voice of the Past channel is always with you. We will meet again in upcoming stories, God willing. Peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you. O Allah, send prayers and peace upon our Master Muhammad and upon his family and companions altogether.